You know, this is kind of what I would say one of the least kept secrets in the National Hockey League. Okay, John Tavares and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, now he hasn't kept up to his contract yet, in my opinion. There was a couple of years where he was pretty good, but we just got news recently, great news actually, because John Tavares has been fantastic this year, that he has zero interest in testing the free agent market, and him and the Leafs are consistently working on a contract. Now, it seems to me that the Maple Leafs are actually working on a lot of contracts. They seem to be negotiating with Marner. They seem to be negotiating with Tavares. These are two huge contracts that they need to get done. And by the way, the Leafs are so bad in their center position. Like, I know Fraser Minton has been pretty good for the Leafs, but they're so bad with their center position that they absolutely need John Tavares to be good. Anyways, now I'm first going to discuss John Tavares, the player, over his contract, how he's been, and what have you. Now, he was signed to about an $11 million deal by the Toronto Maple Leafs a while back, and he has been who he is, right? He has been as expected, for sure. Now, last year took a little bit of a step back. He scored about 60-odd points last year, which for most players would be a win of a season and an excellent season, but not for John Tavares. John Tavares has been consistently a very, very good player, and he needs to get back to that. And he has. In 21 games, he has 20 points. He's been healthy. He's been impactful. And the Leafs have Matthews out. They've been so desperate. They've been calling up Minton, who, by the way, has been really good for the Leafs. In my opinion, in a couple of games, he's filled in well. He played 15 minutes the other night, so Minton's been very good. But they desperately need John Tavares to be good, and he and Mitch Marner have stepped up huge for the Leafs. They deserve a ton of credit because he is aging, and for him to still be this good is nothing but impressive. Now, there are a lot of rumors around the contract, like what exactly he's going to look for, what exactly he's going to get. Now, there was a rumor that they are considering a deferred money payment. Essentially, what happens is you can pay it later. I don't know. I'm not like a cap genius or whatever, but it's essentially a way to like bring down the AAV. Wouldn't be a bad idea. It might not be a bad idea, right? I mean, we've seen it done before in the NHL, and if it works out, who cares, man? If you can bring down the AAV, please. Here's the thing. I don't want the Leafs to disrespect John Tavares by any means, but you have to play hardball with him. You really have to say, hey, listen, let's figure this out for both sides. We know you don't want to go in. We don't want you to go anywhere. But let's make this make sense. They have to get a good deal on a player. Like, you have to get a player that takes a bit of a discount to stay in Toronto. Like, obviously, he wants to start what he finished. He came here and he's won one playoff series. Like, you know, he would tell you himself that's unacceptable. So I want the Leafs to, I mean, you don't want to be disrespectful in the negotiations, but you do want to be able to put your foot down and say, okay, like, listen, we're willing to figure this out with you, but it has to be this number, right? I mean, look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, man. Now, to be fair, Stamkos wasn't that good, and he hasn't been that good this year. I've been keeping an eye on him. He's not been what he once was. So the Tampa Bay Lightning made a good move there, but they really need to realize that Tavares could take a step back at any time, and you need to be careful with this contract. Now, there was an update from Darren Dreger, and he said that it can't go higher than $5 million. I think that's even too high for me. I think even $5 million for what he's going to be in the future is too high for me. I think that it needs to come in below that amount of money. Like, it really, really does. Like, you can't pay him, especially when he's aging, because $5 million is still a lot of money on the cap. Like, you need to be able to negotiate lower than that. Listen, I would want it at $3 million. I understand that might be a little bit unrealistic. Maybe $4 million, you meet in the middle. That might make a lot more sense. I mean, you know, it is what it is, right? You have to pay him to stay, but I'm really worried about what his aging curve is going to be. Now, to be fair, though, he's been very good this season. But again, we don't know what will happen in the future. So you have to think it's not only about this year, it's about, hey, what's happening in the future. Now, it's funny, though, that we all said when he signed that contract, we all said, oh, he's going to not look good in the final year, but he's actually been really good. Now, one thing is sure, though, for the last couple of the Leafs, and even Keefe did this too, where they have been easing off John Tavares a little bit. They've been kind of letting him... They haven't been playing him like a consistent 20 minutes. Now, lately in the past couple of games, he's played more minutes. But if you look at his average time on ice, I'll pull it up right now in the video. He's getting something like 17 and a half, something like that. I mean, that's a lot more reasonable and where he should be. You can't gas these guys that much. Now, the one thing I will say about, like, I've complained about him aging a little bit right now. The one thing that I will say about that, though, is that he never really played a fast game, so it is possible that he could age better. Like, for example, like, if you have a player that's been really, really good and playing a slow game, and essentially like a player that's just like really hard to take the puck off down low. Like when he's down by the net, he's really hard to take the puck off, which is, I would describe that as John Tavares. I don't know about what you think, but he's really good around the net. And he's never relied on his speed that much. Logically speaking, you could say, okay, maybe he will age better because of that. Like, that's one point on the other side, if you understand what I mean, where, I am a little bit worried about his aging curve, but he never was a speed demon. Even in junior, he always... I mean, that was the question when he was drafted, is his skating, but that's been calmed pretty quickly throughout his career. But anyways, yes, I just wanted to make a video that John Tavares is clearly probably going to re-sign pretty soon with the Maple Leafs. I am very interested to see what this contract is going to look like, but now I want to hear comments from you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think it's going to look like below in the comments section, and have a great day, guys. Goodbye.